driver said I could manage without him. I'll just go out and then I'll stop and wheesh. That'll make them jump. Thomas thought he was being clever, but really he was only moving because a careless cleaner had meddled with his controls. He soon found his mistake. He tried to wheesh, but he couldn't. He tried to stop, but he couldn't. He just kept rolling along. He didn't dare look at what was coming next. There was the station master's house. The station master was about to have breakfast. "Horrors!" cried Thomas and shut his eyes. The house rocked, broken glass tinkled, plaster was everywhere. Thomas had collected a bush on his travels. He peered into the room through its leaves. He couldn't speak.
Thomas pushed his way along the overgrown track. Annie and Clarabelle were not happy.
Thomas, please! Where are we going?
Don't worry. This shortcut is going somewhere. We'll be out of the woods soon, and then...
Thomas had hit a rotten buffer in the undergrowth, and his wheels had come right off the track.
Oh, no! I can't back up. I'm stuck.
I didn't need that stupid old thing yesterday, and I shan't today. Snow can't stop me. He rushed into a tunnel thinking how clever he was, but there was trouble ahead. "Cinders and ashes," said Thomas. "I'm stuck." And he was. The fireman went to throw the switch. "Now for my plan," thought Thomas. Bumping the cars fiercely, he jerked his driver off the footplate and followed them into the siding. "Come back!" yelled his driver. "Fire and smoke," said Thomas. "I'm sunk." And he was.
He puffed up bravely in front of Hector and gave him a mighty biff. Hector rolled backwards. He was very cross. "Keep away!" he roared. "No, I won't," tooted Thomas crossly. "You are causing confusion and delay. You really are horrid." Then, with one mighty biff, Thomas sent Hector rolling backwards into a set of buffers. Hector crashed off the track. Thomas felt very bad.
They were soon filled with heaps of chocolatey cocoa powder. Thomas was ready to go. But the shunters hadn't released the brakes on the trucks. Thomas pulled as hard as he could, but the trucks wouldn't move. "I have to hurry," puffed Thomas. He huffed and he puffed, and at last the coupling broke. Thomas shot forward. Cocoa powder flew everywhere. "Now I'll never get to take the children," puffed Thomas. Thomas steamed as fast as he could along the line. But there was trouble ahead. Some faulty points sent his trucks one way, and Thomas onto the old pier rail. The trucks were delighted. He's fallen in the water. Luckily, Thomas wasn't hurt, and the fish truck stayed on the tracks.
Said no more. He just grinned at Toby. Later, Thomas was resting when Percy arrived. A large hopper was loading his trucks full of coal. Thomas was still being cheeky. "Careful," he warned. "Watch out with those silly trucks."
Go on,
Muttered the truck. "And by the way," went on Thomas, "those buffers don't look very safe to me." The last load poured down. "Help! Help!" cried Thomas. Get me out! Percy was worried, but he couldn't help laughing. Thomas's smart blue paint was covered in coal dust from smoke box to bunker.
Ha ha!
Chuckled Percy.
You don't look really useful now, Thomas. You look really disgraceful.
I'm not disgraceful, choked Thomas. You did that on purpose. Get me out!
Danger lay ahead. Now for our plan, giggled the cars. Go faster, go faster. They pushed Thomas over the switches. Slow down, called Thomas's driver, and applied the brakes. Poor Thomas stood dazed and surprised in a muddy pond as a toad eyed him suspiciously. Bust my buffers, muttered Thomas. The day started so well, too.
And I want to win!
Thomas was huffing up a steep slope. He was puffing and panting, and his axles ached. At last, he reached the top.
Hooray! I did it!
Then there was trouble. There was a clang and a prang. Thomas gasped.
Cinders and ashes! I've broken my brakes!
Thomas's wheels started to whir and to wobble. He flew faster and faster down the hill.
Oh no! Oh, help!
Thomas raced down one hill and rattled up the next.
Help! I can't stop!
Thomas's heavy trucks pushed him on and on through a junction where Spencer was waiting.
Blistering boilers!
And into some potato trucks. Potatoes bounced everywhere, but Thomas sped on. Into a flatbed of jam barrels. Sticky jam flew in the air and landed all over Thomas. But still he went on and found himself rolling along an old rickety track. Ahead, Thomas could see a thick wall of bushes.
Fenders and funnels! How can I stop?
With a scrunch and a crunch, Thomas crashed into the bushes and came to a stop.
Flaming fireboxes! That was scary!
Thomas looked around. After the racing and rattling, it was very quiet.